Welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
And today we're going to be looking into the career of a musician, Iggy Azalea.
Right.
Now, Iggy Azalea, she's a white Australian rapper, but she really made it big in American hip-hop, a genre which is, traditionally dominated by black artists.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a pretty atypical rise to fame.
For sure.
And that's kind of what makes her story so captivating.
Absolutely.
And so we have a pretty good mix of sources for you guys today. We have some biographical articles, we have some deep dives into her lyrics, and we even have some stuff about her crazy move to America when she was a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, it really is an interesting story. It takes us all the way from rural Australia to the top of the Billboard charts.
And, with a lot of twists and turns along the way.
Yeah.
So today we're going to explore how Iggy Azalea navigated the music industry, the controversies she faced, and we're going to examine what her music tells us about ambition, identity, and the pursuit of success, really, in a globalized world.
Yeah, I think it's also important to kind of unpack the complexities of cultural appropriation, a topic that's been pretty central to the conversation surrounding her career.
All right, so let's start with her early life.
Okay.
In Mullumbimby, Australia.
Yeah.
From what I read, it was a pretty small town, a town where, she felt like she didn't quite fit in.
Yeah, that feeling of being an outsider, wanting to escape, kind of reinvent yourself, that seems to have been a real driving force for her, even from a young age. And it's interesting that she gravitated towards hip-hop, a genre that speaks to those themes, right? Rebellion and kind of breaking free from societal norms.
Yeah, it's definitely not the typical path for someone from her background.
For sure.
And speaking of unusual, her father, he was a children's book author.
Oh, yeah.
But not just any children's books. He wrote a book called The Runt Who Said Cunt.
Yeah, that raised a few eyebrows.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I wonder if growing up in that environment, surrounded by unconventional thinking and creative expression, played a role in shaping her own bold choices later in life.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely paints a picture of a family that wasn't afraid to kind of push boundaries.
For sure.
Maybe that's what gave her a certain fearlessness.
Yeah.
Might explain why at just 16, she decided to make, a pretty life-changing move.
16 years old. She basically told her parents she was going on vacation to America and then never came back.
Yeah, talk about a leap of faith.
That decision really speaks volumes, even at such a young age, about her determination.
Oh, yeah.
But those early years in the U.S., they were far from glamorous.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was working under-the-table jobs just to get by.
Struggling, yeah.
And there's even a story about her getting involved in a credit card scam just to survive.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's a side of her story that often gets overshadowed by her later success.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to understanding her drive. Those experiences, that hustle, it really seems to have fueled her ambition and given her a resilience that would serve her well, in the music industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can definitely hear that struggle reflected in her music. Songs like Work and Change Your Life.
Yeah.
They aren't just about achieving fame and fortune. They're about the relentless grind, that constant battle to overcome obstacles.
And to prove yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that one line in Work where she raps, "No money, no family, 16 in the middle of Miami."
Yeah, it's raw, it's honest.
It really is.
And I think it resonates with, anyone who's ever felt like an underdog fighting for their dreams.
And even in her later songs, when she's already achieved a level of success that most people only dream of, that theme of overcoming adversity remains.
Yeah, like in Survive the Summer, she's rapping about pushing through tough times and coming out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, it's a theme that connects with her audience, on such a deep level, because it taps into that universal experience of facing challenges and finding the strength to keep going.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Now, her path to success, it wasn't a straight line.
Right.
She spent those early years, hustling, making music videos, releasing mixtapes. She even started a hair business with a friend.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it seems like she was just trying everything to get her foot in the door.
Yeah.
And there was this almost sliding doors moment in 2009 where she moved to Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
A real hub for hip-hop.
Yeah.
But she missed connecting with T.I.
Oh, wow.
The rapper and producer who would later become her mentor.
Huh. It makes you wonder what could have been.
It really does. How things might have turned out differently if they'd met then.
Yeah.
But, fate had other plans.
I guess so.
A few years later, their paths would cross again. And T.I. would sign her to his label, Grand Hustle Records, really becoming instrumental in launching her career.
That's awesome.
It is. And then, of course, comes 2014, the year that changed everything with the release of Fancy, featuring Charlie XCX.
A game changer.
It really was.
Not just for Iggy Azalea, but for, I think, the landscape of pop music.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, that the initial reception to the song was kind of lukewarm.
It's true. It didn't become a mega hit right away. It took a while to catch on.
Yeah.
But once it did, there was no stopping it. It became like the anthem of the summer.
It did.
And it wasn't just Fancy, her single Problem, featuring Ariana Grande,
Right.
was climbing the charts at the same time.
Yeah, imagine having two songs
It's a crazy.
dominating the Billboard Hot 100 like that simultaneously.
Only the Beatles had done that before.
Yeah, talk about making history.
I mean, that kind of success really speaks to her ability to create music that captures the zeitgeist.
That undeniable, earworm quality.
Yeah, you want to sing along.
Makes you want to move.
But beyond the catchy hooks and, the infectious beats, there's a real depth to her lyrics that often gets overlooked.
For sure.
So let's dive into that a bit more. You were mentioning the themes of ambition and overcoming adversity, but there's also a boldness in her lyrics, a kind of take no prisoners attitude that I think is pretty refreshing.
Oh, yeah. She's not afraid to be provocative, to challenge conventions, and to own her choices.
Yeah.
Even the controversial ones.
Yeah, take, for example, her lyrics about plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, songs like Money Come and
Yeah.
Not Important. She's very open about it, rapping about how she spent money to enhance her looks.
Yeah. I mean, some might find that shocking,
Yeah.
but she just owns it completely.
Yeah, it's a statement of power. It's kind of like, this is my body. I can do what I want with it.
Yeah.
It challenges the traditional beauty standards, I think, that are often imposed on women in the music industry.
Totally.
She's not going to conform to their expectations.
Yeah, like, I'm going to define beauty on my own terms.
Exactly.
Love that.
But there's also, a playfulness in some of her lyrics, a lighter side that I think adds depth to her persona.
Yeah, songs like Tokyo Snow Trip showcase that sense of adventure, that desire to, explore, experience new things.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even amidst all the ambition, the hustle, there's a fun-loving, free-spirited side to her personality.
Yeah, it's that complexity, that mix of boldness, vulnerability, and playfulness that makes her music, I think, so compelling.
Yeah, for sure.
But we can't ignore the fact that her career has been marked by controversy, particularly the accusations of cultural appropriation.
It's a topic that, deserves a deeper dive.
Yeah.
It's not a simple black and white issue. There are so many layers to unpack, and it's important to do so with nuance and sensitivity.
Absolutely, and we will delve into that more in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
But before we move on, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on her early career, that period of struggle and relentless pursuit of her dreams.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most about that period?
I think, what strikes me is her unwavering belief in herself.
Yeah.
Even when the odds were stacked against her, she had this vision, this unwavering commitment to her artistry. She was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen, and I think that's just incredibly inspiring.
It is. It's a reminder that the path to success is often messy.
Yeah.
Unpredictable.
Totally.
Filled with challenges.
Yeah.
But with enough passion and determination, anything is possible.
I love that.
Me too.
So true.
So true. You mentioned we need to unpack these cultural appropriation accusations.
Yeah.
And it's a topic that deserves, I think, a careful look.
It's a conversation that's been going on for years, and it's one that, like I said, requires nuance. On one hand, you have people who see Azalea's, adoption of a Southern accent and certain aspects of Black culture as, disrespectful, exploitative, even.
Yeah, it's not hard to see why some feel that way. I mean, hip-hop has its roots in Black culture, and there's a history of white artists profiting from Black music without, acknowledging or respecting its origins.
Right, and there's a valid argument to be made about the power dynamics at play, especially in an industry that hasn't always been equitable.
Yeah.
Some argue that, Azalea's success is partly due to her ability to package and sell Black culture to a mainstream audience in a way that's, I guess, more palatable to certain demographics.
It's interesting. It raises some thought-provoking questions about who gets to profit from these cultural expressions.
Yeah.
And how artists navigate those boundaries.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, you have those who defend Azalea saying she's simply expressing her artistic influences.
Right.
And that hip-hop as a genre has always been about evolution and cross-cultural exchange.
They point to the fact that hip-hop itself has been influenced by various cultures and musical styles over the years. And they argue that restricting artists based on their race or background would, it would stifle creativity, would limit the potential for artistic innovation.
So it's a really complex debate, and it's one that Azalea herself has actually addressed.
Yeah, in interviews on social media, she's both defended her artistry and acknowledged her privilege as a white artist working within a predominantly black genre.
It seems like she's trying to find a balance.
Yeah.
To pay homage to her influences while also carving out her own space as an artist.
It's a tightrope walk.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer. It's a conversation that goes beyond Iggy Azalea.
For sure.
And speaks to those larger issues of race, representation, and cultural ownership in the music industry.
It's a conversation that we, as consumers of music, need to be a part of.
Absolutely. It's about being mindful of where our music comes from, understanding the historical context, and engaging in these discussions with, respect and an open mind.
Now, it's important to note that Azalea's career, it didn't end with Fancy.
Right.
She went on to release more albums, she toured the world, and even transitioned into other ventures, like modeling and acting.
Her journey, post-Fancy was a bit of a roller coaster. She faced setbacks, including the cancellation of her Great Escape tour, and she switched record labels multiple times.
It seems like she was searching for the right creative environment.
Yeah.
The right team to support her vision.
For sure.
But even when she faced challenges, she never stopped experimenting and pushing boundaries.
Yeah, she wasn't afraid to make bold moves, like her decision to join OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah, that sparked a lot of debate.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people criticized it as, a desperate attempt to stay relevant.
Yeah, I could see that.
But, others saw it as a savvy business move.
Yeah.
A way to connect with her audience on a different platform and take control of her own narrative.
And it was undeniably successful.
Oh, yeah.
She reportedly earned more on OnlyFans in a single month than the entire box office weekend takings of Dakota Johnson's Madam Web movie.
That's pretty incredible.
It really is. It shows she's not afraid to think outside the box and leverage her platform in unconventional ways.
And, it speaks to her entrepreneurial spirit and her understanding of, the evolving media landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, she recognized the potential of a platform like OnlyFans to, build a direct connection with her fans and generate income on her own terms.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the traditional music industry model.
Totally.
Where artists often have to rely on record labels and other gatekeepers for their success.
Yeah, it's like she's saying, I can create my own empire, my own rules.
I love that.
It's very empowering.
And that brings us to, I guess, the final chapter of her music career, the release of her album, The End of an Era,
Right.
and her subsequent retirement from music.
A decision that surprised a lot of people.
It really did. I mean, she was still at the top of her game. She had this loyal fan base.
Totally.
So why walk away?
In interviews, she explained that she was feeling burned out on the music industry and, wanted to pursue other passions.
Yeah, she talked a lot about the pressure.
The constant scrutiny.
Yeah.
And the toll it takes on your mental health.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to walk away from something so successful, to step out of the spotlight and redefine what success means to you.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially in a world that often equates success with fame and fortune.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that it's okay to step back, reassess your priorities, and choose a path that aligns with your values.
It's a thought-provoking end to a career that's been full of surprises.
It really has.
Yeah, it's fascinating how she's kind of chosen to define success on her own terms,
It's really interesting.
even if it means stepping away from the spotlight.
It really challenges, I think, those traditional narratives we often hear about ambition and achievement, especially in the music industry.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most courageous move is to prioritize your well-being and your creative freedom, even if it means letting go of something that brought you fame and fortune.
Iggy Azalea's story, I think, is a testament to the power of reinvention, of constantly evolving and challenging yourself,
Yeah.
both personally and artistically.
We started this deep dive talking about her feeling like an outsider in that small Australian town.
Right, and in a way, she's continued to be an outsider throughout her career, defying expectations, forging her own path.
From her bold move to America to her unapologetic lyrics, her unconventional business decisions, she's never been afraid to take risks,
break the mold.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a complex figure, I think. She's sparked both admiration and controversy, but one thing's for sure, she's made a lasting impact on popular music.
Her music has inspired so many people, and her story has ignited important conversations about race, representation, cultural ownership.
For sure.
And ultimately, her decision to retire on her own terms, while still at the top of her game, it leaves us with a powerful message.
About the importance of prioritizing your own well-being and staying true to your artistic vision.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
Where do you think Iggy Azalea's story fits into the larger narrative of hip-hop and pop culture? How do you grapple with the complexities of cultural appropriation and artistic influence? And what does her journey tell us about the evolving nature of success in a world that's constantly changing? We hope this deep dive is giving you some food for thought, some new perspectives, and maybe even inspired you to take a leap of faith and pursue your own unconventional dreams.
Thanks for joining us.
And keep those deep dives going.